Hey everybody, I want to share a video with you on what happens when you don't follow the trends and some tips for you to put some more fish in the boat. Hang in there, I'll be right back. Hey there, Salt Strong family. This is Pat Ogletree, and I hope this finds you all happy, healthy, and safe. Like I said earlier, I want to share a trip with you that I took down to the Mosquito Lagoon, and on that trip, I was able to catch one redfish by following the trends. Now, after I caught that redfish, I veered away from the trends and kind of went my own path, and I really wasn't paying attention to what the water was telling me. So I really didn't catch anything the rest of the trip, but I did find something that would have helped me, and I want to share that with you after I show you this video of the redfish. Hang in there, Sack. This feels like a redfish. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's a little redfish. Well, I say little. He's decent size. Come here. There we go. That's how you start a morning out. Nice little slot size red. Pretty tail. He's not dark at all. Pretty fish though. Okay, so let me explain why that redfish was where he was at, and it'll explain some of the trends that's been going on in the area for the past couple of months and where I kind of messed up and I should have done something better, but I caught myself. So this is the actual point right here, and he was right there at the edge of the point waiting for that the bait and the wind. They were coming from the south to the north and passing over that point, and as soon as they got over the edge of it, he was there waiting for them. So this has been the trend for a while now. What I did was I fished these islands, and I fished the backside of them. The reason why I did that was right now the wind was blowing basically in this direction. The thought was I would hit these wind-blown shorelines along here, right here, and right here. But the issue with that was I didn't pay attention to the prevailing winds over the past couple of days. So for this current moment, for what was happening, that would have been a good plan if that wind was blowing in that direction for a while. But it had just started blowing that direction a couple of hours after I had launched. So what the wind had been doing was blowing straight out of the east and to the west, and had been doing that for about 3 days. So the fish were, instead of being here, because that would have been wind protected shoreline, and we all know right now in the summertime you want to do the wind blown shoreline and not the wind protected shoreline. What I should have done was been fishing this shoreline here. And it was apparently evident when I had circled back around. I had fished to this point here, and I figured I was going to go across and work my way back. Well, what I found out was when I was working my way back, I got to this area here, and this area right here, and I happened to notice that there was a lot of fish in those areas. There was bait fish there. There was reds kind of not really stacked up. They were paired up, but you would run across a pair of them every once in a while. But at this point, it really wasn't feeding time, and they were just shut down. They had lockjaw on them, but they were there. So what I'd realized when I got home and I looked at the map, the reason why they were there was, if you notice, because the wind was blowing east to west, where these fish were stacked up was exactly in the breaks of the islands. So all that shoreline in those particular areas was getting beat up for the past 3 days from this east wind, and the bait fish were in there, the predators were in there, and that's where they had felt more comfortable. There was more dissolved oxygen. They weren't in the islands where I was fishing. So if I was to recommend somebody coming back, or if I was to go back and fish this area again, I would have paid attention to the prevailing wind, and I would have started on that shoreline pre-dawn and fished it till at least 8 or 9 o'clock, and that's about when everything shut down. Before that, you know, in those early morning hours, there was dolphin hunting in the area, there was bait fish jumping around, there was birds all over the place, but at about 8 or 9 o'clock when the sun came up, everything shut down. There's no signs of any activity. These fish that I ran across were just laid up. They weren't moving and they weren't actively feeding, but I guarantee you in the morning they were. So if you use that information that you got from the days before what the winds were doing, it's just as important, actually more so important this day than it was what the wind is currently doing. So pay attention to the forecast a couple of days before, and that might help you pinpoint some more fish. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you can use some tips from this to help you put some more fish in the boat. As always, make sure and pick up after yourself. If you have to, pick up after others. We need to make sure and take care of our waterways. Until next time, thanks, and thanks for watching. Bye.